Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, February 19th, 2019. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. I'm going to keep the hood up today. It's cold. I don't even know what the temperature is outside. It was like 2 when I went to bed last night. Oh, here, I'll move this back from my face a little bit. There, it's cold. Yeah. Yesterday was a crazy busy day. I mentioned yesterday I had a little bit of consulting to do. I did that and then just plowed through work. Oh man, did I plow through work. We've got a new project that hopefully we're going to be rolling out soon, one that I have not discussed on this show or on any show. So I'll just keep you guessing on that. What else? What else did I work on? Dealing with some challenges on some new inventory, the sparring gear. I'd been hoping to take a trip somewhere a little warmer for a couple days. Haven't had a vacation in a few years, and it looks like vacation is going to be flying to Texas to deal with that. So that's unfortunate. I should know more today about that. What else did I do yesterday? I'm rolling through my tasks. Got through a lot of email. It was a very productive day, and then I went to the gym, and I came home and I ate a pizza. It was a small pizza, but it was still a pizza, and I still ate the whole thing, and it was amazing. I don't regret any of it. So there was a question on yesterday's episode about minimalism. How do I feel about minimalism and trying to stay focused on tasks to get everything done, prioritize. And I think it's critical. If you took a look at my calendar, which is how I prioritize my tasks, you would see on a given day sometimes 12 to 18 different things. It is rare for me to get that many things done. There's some science that I've read that supports the idea that there are only so many decisions you can make in a day, so many tasks that you can handle. And I've read different numbers. But this is why Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. He felt that if he didn't have to worry about what he was wearing, he would have one more decision he could dedicate to Apple. And I guess I'm similar. The challenge I have is that I get bored. I get bored even with the things that I have no right to be bored with. So in that mix, I sometimes find myself pushing things off a couple days, and that's a sign to me that that has to be the thing that becomes the highest priority. A lot of what I do is not terribly complex and does not take a lot of time. The things I do that take a long time tend to be recording episodes. Excuse me, driving. And working on new projects. You know, we're always working on new projects. I've always got an idea for another project. Like this book that I'm working on. I'm trying to work on a method for putting out this book in the various forms it needs to come out that requires the least amount of time. And it looks like some of that will involve hiring out a little bit of it, getting some help putting together the outline. You know, I'll do all the writing and certainly record it for an audiobook. But the more help I can have getting that prepped, the faster that'll be for me. I can sit down and just hammer out words or just go when it comes to voice. You might imagine that. You know, here I've been doing this show for what, half a year? Gosh, has it really been that long? I think it has. But there are a few things that I do that help me focus. So the first one is that in my coffee, most of the time, is a quarter teaspoon of theanine, which is an amino acid that reacts with caffeine and kind of cuts off some of the jitteriness, and that helps me focus a lot. And then the other thing is this great service from a company called Brain FM, Brain.fm. It's $6.95 a month, and they've got some interesting, we'll call it music, that has some clicks and pops that you don't necessarily hear, but it helps you focus, and it works. It's amazing. And if you think about what $7 is worth to you in terms of productivity, if I got an extra 30 minutes a month out of it, it would be worth it. And I get so much more. There are days I sit down and realize, oh, I just worked for 2 hours without even looking up. And that's because of Brain FM. And then if there are things that absolutely need to get done, sometimes they don't get done here. It depends on what the thing is. Like when it's time to record the audiobook, that may happen in a hotel room. I might break down some of the audio gear and rent a hotel room for a night. That way I don't have to deal with the cat, I don't have to deal with the furnace, I don't have to deal with any of that. And I should have if I ask there are hotels in the area. I know folks who work at some of them say, hey, give me a quiet room away from anybody. And I can probably turn out an entire audio book in an evening. So I am constantly looking at how to, I don't say reinvent myself, but how can I get better at being efficient? I think that's the key word, is efficiency. When you start a business, you generally have too little time and too little money. And there's still too little money. And there's too little time, but I'm getting better on the time side. Things become much easier when you have one or the other. Obviously, the goal is to have plenty of money and plenty of time. But that's a transition, and it takes years. And it is taking years. Sometimes it's just about leaving space for making all the right mistakes so you can stop making them. I'm pretty proud of myself. I don't tend to make the same mistakes. I make lots of new mistakes that I didn't even know I could make. But I think that that's where a lot of the wisdom is. A lot of the things that we learn from making mistakes. In fact, if you look at the way a baby, a small child learns, they learn how to walk by falling down a lot. They learn not to touch something hot because they burn themselves. You look at the way a small animal interacts with its parents, and they will, scold it aggressively. Mistakes are what define our knowledge. One of the things I've said on this show is life is about learning what not to do, and it helps you hone in on what to do. So, don't be afraid of making mistakes. And I think that's probably my advice for you today. Whether you're talking about learning how to be efficient with your day, or how to become a better fighter, or how to do things in martial arts, anything. Don't be afraid to try and experiment and figure out what works and what doesn't. And I don't just mean in the creative elements, I mean in the actual, in basics, in your forms, in all of it. There are elements that you have some reign over. And don't be afraid to try them out. Don't be afraid to mess with the timing in your forms, or use your hips more or less in a certain technique. Just don't be afraid to try it. Because even if it's not right in your school, even if there's someone who tells you that is wrong, even if you have to practice it on your own, there's knowledge in understanding why it's wrong, in understanding why you don't do it that way. And the more you can glean that knowledge from your practice, the more you've got to go on. The worst teachers are the ones who say, do it this way because this is the way we do it. If you don't have a reason why something is done, you should be finding it. So, that's what I got for you today. There we go. There's 11 minutes. I've got a lot of coffee left to drink. I think it is not snowing right now, but my eyes are probably deceiving me. So I'm going to go look closer and attack my day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget, you can leave me questions here on YouTube, and we do the show weekdays, 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Take care. Peace.